Commander Olivia Martinez stared at the control panel in front of her. The small light blinked again. A message was coming through on an old emergency channel. No one had used these frequencies in years. "Computer, play the message," she said. The voice that filled the bridge of the USS Dauntless was broken and filled with static. "Under attack. Unknown entities. All diplomatic attempts failed. Confederation refused aid. Please. Anyone." Olivia leaned forward. "Computer, clean up that signal and replay." The message played again, clearer but still fragmented. A voice of someone clearly terrified, begging for help. "Location of origin?" she asked. "Vega Outpost, Commander. A small scientific base on the third moon of Vega 6, replied the ship's AI. Olivia frowned. Vega Outpost was far from the normal shipping routes, but still within Confederation space. If they were under attack, why hadn't the Confederation sent help? "Send a message to Confederation Central," she ordered. "Ask about the situation at Vega Outpost." 10 minutes later, the reply came. "Vega Outpost is under quarantine due to a containment breach. All ships are ordered to avoid the area. This is standard protocol." Something didn't feel right. The message, Lieutenant Jack Pearson arrived quickly, his tall frame filling the doorway. "We received a distress call from Vega Outpost," she explained. "But the Confederation says it's just a containment breach, and they've established a quarantine." Jack listened to the message. "That doesn't sound like a containment breach to me, Commander." "My thoughts exactly." Olivia tapped her fingers on the arm of her chair. She had orders to continue her patrol of the outer reaches of human territory. Investigating would mean disobeying those orders. "Get me Dr. Wright, Chief Winters, and Officer Coleman," she said finally. "We need to talk." 30 minutes later, the small team had gathered in the ship's meeting room. Dr. Eliza Wright, the ship's xenobiologist, was a quiet woman with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Chief Engineer Kyle Winters was younger than most in his position, but his genius with machinery had earned him his rank. Security Officer Natalie Coleman stood by the door, her posture still showing her years as a Marine. Olivia played them the message and explained the situation. "The Confederation is hiding something," Natalie said immediately. "That message was about an attack, not a containment breach." Eliza nodded. "I've worked at outposts like Vega. Their containment protocols are top-notch. A breach would be almost impossible." "So what do we do?" Kyle asked. "The Confederation has declared a quarantine. We can't just fly in there." Olivia looked at each of them. "Actually, we can. Kyle, you've been working on that stealth system, right? The one that masks our energy signature?" Kyle's eyes widened. "It's still experimental, Commander. I can't guarantee it will hide us completely." "But it might get us past the blockade," Olivia pressed. "Maybe, for a short time at least." Olivia made her decision. "I'm not abandoning people who are calling for help. We're going to Vega Outpost." Jack looked concerned. "Commander, this could be seen as disobeying direct orders." "I know. That's why I'm not ordering any of you to come with me. This is volunteer only. I'll take a shuttle if I have to." One by one, they agreed to join her. None of them could ignore a cry for help. 3 days later, the USS Dauntless approached the Vega system. True to the Confederation's word, a blockade of ships surrounded the area. They were keeping everyone out, or keeping something in. "Activate the stealth system," Olivia ordered. Kyle worked his controls. The lights on the bridge dimmed slightly, as power was diverted to the experimental technology. "Stealth system active. We're invisible to standard scans, but if anyone looks out a window, they'll still see us." "Then let's hope no one looks out a window," Olivia said. "Take us in, Jack." The Dauntless slipped past the blockade ships. No alarms sounded. No ships moved to intercept them. The stealth system was working. As they approached Vega 6, they got their first look at the moon where the outpost was located. From orbit, everything looked normal. "I'm not detecting any signs of battle," Natalie reported from her security station. "No weapons discharge, no radiation spikes." "Life signs?" Olivia asked. Eliza checked her console. "Yes, but fewer than there. Should be. The outpost was designed for 100 researchers. I'm only detecting about 20 life forms, and not all of them are human." "Let's go see what happened," Olivia decided. "Prepare a landing party." The shuttle descended through the moon's thin atmosphere. As they got closer to the outpost, they could see the damage that hadn't been visible from orbit. One side of the research station had been torn open, the metal peeled back like paper. Several of the outer buildings were completely destroyed. "This wasn't a containment breach," Natalie said grimly. "Something attacked this place." They landed in what was left of the shuttle bay. Dressed in environmental suits as a precaution, they made their way into the main building. The inside of the outpost was eerily quiet. Emergency lights cast red shadows across the walls. They passed through a laboratory where equipment had been smashed and scattered. Whatever had happened here had been violent. "Hello?" Olivia called out over her suit's speaker. "This is Commander Martinez of the Earth Space Forces. We received your distress call." For a long moment there was silence. Then a voice replied from the shadows. "You shouldn't have come. The Confederation abandoned us for a reason." A figure stepped into the light. It was a human woman, her face streaked with dirt and dried blood. "I'm Meredith Liu. I was studying ancient artifacts here before the attack." "What happened?" Olivia asked. "The harvesters came," Meredith replied. "They always come eventually. The Confederation knows about them, but they don't interfere. They call it a natural phenomenon." "Natural phenomenon? People died here," Natalie exclaimed. "The Confederation doesn't see it that way," another voice said. A large reptilian being stepped into view, its scales a dull green. "I am Varks of the Krell. What you humans don't understand yet is that the Confederation only protects those who fit into their vision of peace." "And the rest?" Jack asked. "The rest of us are expendable," Vark said bitterly. "The broken ones, they call us, those who cannot or will not conform." More figures appeared from hiding places around the room. Small insectoid creatures that Eliza identified as Novali, and something else, a humanoid figure made of metal and synthetic materials. "I am Cypher," the android said. "And you humans have made a grave mistake coming here. The harvesters will return. They always return." Olivia looked around at the survivors. "Then we'll be ready when they do. I'm not leaving anyone behind." "You don't understand," Meredith said. "No one has ever beaten the harvesters. That's why the Confederation established the quarantine. They're not keeping people out to protect them. They're containing the problem. And sacrificing everyone here in the process," Olivia finished. A sudden alarm blared from Eliza's scanner. "Commander, I'm detecting ships entering the system. Multiple signatures, approaching fast." Cypher's metal face couldn't show emotion, but its voice lowered. "They're back. The harvesters have returned." Outside, through a broken section of wall, they could see lights appearing in the sky. Ships, dozens of them, descending toward the moon. Olivia made her decision instantly. "Everyone, back to our shuttle. We're getting out of here." "There's no escape," Vark said. "The harvesters will catch any ship that tries to leave." "Then we don't leave," Olivia replied. "We fight. Everyone follow me," Olivia ordered as the lights of the harvester ships grew closer. "We need to find a defensible position." The survivors moved quickly through the damaged hallways of the outpost. Natalie Coleman took point, her weapon ready. Jack guarded the rear. The mixed group of humans, Krell, Novali, and the android Cypher, hurried to keep up. "The control center is still intact," Meredith Liu suggested. "It has reinforced walls and emergency power." They made their way to the center of the outpost. The control room was largely undamaged, with multiple computer stations and thick walls. Large windows looked out over the desolate landscape of the moon, where the harvester ships were now landing about a mile away. "What exactly are these harvesters?" Olivia asked as they sealed the doors behind them. Varks, the large Krell warrior, answered. They come to collect resources, technology, people, whatever they find valuable. They attacked 3 days ago, Meredith added. Took half our people. The rest of us managed to hide or escape. Cypher the android moved to a computer terminal. Its metal fingers moved quickly over the controls. The outpost's main defenses were designed to handle meteorites and radiation, not an organized attack. But the Confederation must know about these things, Eliza said. Why don't they help? A small Novali stepped forward. Its voice was high-pitched and clicking. I am Krill, engineer. Confederation knows. Confederation always knows. They study. Harvesters from safe distance. That doesn't make sense, Kyle said. The Confederation has always claimed to protect all civilized species. Varks made a sound like bitter laughter. Protection comes with a price, human. Conformity. Obedience. My people refused to give up our warrior traditions. So the Confederation helped us by altering our genetic code, removed our aggression, made us manageable. They did what? Jack looked horrified. The Krell were once feared warriors, Cypher explained. Now they are laborers and servants. Those who escape the modifications are hunted as criminals. Olivia looked at Varks with new understanding. You're one of the unmodified ones. Varks nodded. One of the last. I've been hiding for years, working at remote outposts like this one. The Confederation did similar things to my people, Krill said. Civil war on our world. Confederation came to help, took our weapons, limited our technology. Now we cannot defend ourselves. And you? Olivia asked Cypher. Artificial intelligences were deemed too unpredictable, the android replied. We were to be reprogrammed with strict limitations. Many of my kind chose to hide instead. Olivia felt sick. The Galactic Confederation had been presented to humanity as a benevolent organization bringing peace to the stars. Earth had been eager to join, grateful for the advanced technology and protection they offered. Now she wondered what price they would eventually demand from humans. Commander, Kyle called from a monitor. Those harvester ships are deploying something. Looks like troops? On the screen, they could see figures emerging from the landed ships. Humanoid but wrong somehow, with elongated limbs and heads that seemed too large for their bodies. They're coming this way, Natalie reported. ETA 10 minutes at their current pace. What weapons do we have? Olivia asked. Standard security arms, Meredith replied. Some mining explosives. Nothing designed for combat. I have this, Vark said, revealing a wicked-looking blade. Old Krell weapon. Forbidden by Confederation. Krill chittered nervously. Have technical knowledge. Can improvise traps. And I have my ship, Olivia said. The USS Dauntless is in orbit. We could call down fire support. The harvesters would detect any communication and target your ship first, Cypher warned. Olivia thought quickly. Then we need to hold out until we can find a way to contact my ship safely. They worked quickly, preparing the best defense they could. Kyle and Krill rigged makeshift traps using the outpost's equipment. Jack and Natalie distributed what weapons they had. Eliza set up a medical station for the inevitable injuries. They're getting closer, Jack reported from his position by the window. 300 yards and closing. Olivia stood next to Varks, watching the approaching harvesters. You've seen these things before. Any advice? They do not fear death, Varks said. They do not retreat. Their only goal is to collect, and they want the artifacts. What artifacts? Meredith joined them. That's what I was studying here. This moon contains ruins of an ancient civilization. Technology far beyond even the Confederation's. Is that why the harvesters came? Olivia asked. Yes, Cypher said. They always appear where ancient technology is discovered. A loud bang echoed through the control room as something hit the outer door. Everyone tensed. They're here, Natalie announced. The banging continued, growing louder. Metal screamed as the door began to buckle. Everyone, positions, Olivia ordered. The door burst open, and the first harvester entered. It was tall and thin, with gray skin, stretched tight over its frame. Its oversized head housed large black eyes that showed no emotion. In its hand was a device that looked part weapon, part tool. Natalie fired, and the creature staggered back. But it didn't fall. More crowded in behind it. "Aim for the neck," Vark shouted. "It's their weak point." The room erupted into chaos. Natalie and Jack fired continuously. Varks moved with surprising speed for his size, his blade cutting through the harvester's tough skin. Even the small Navali fought, using their knowledge of the outpost systems to electrify sections of the floor beneath the intruders. Olivia fought beside them, but she could see they were outnumbered. For every harvester they took down, 2 more appeared. "We can't hold them," Jack shouted over the noise. Suddenly Meredith called out, "The artifacts. We need to get to the artifacts." "What?" Olivia ducked as a harvester swung at her. "The ruins contain a defense system," Meredith explained quickly. "I was studying it when the attack came. I think I can activate it." "Where?" Olivia asked. "The caves, 1/2 mile from here, but we'd have to get past them." Meredith pointed at the harvesters still pouring in. Cypher appeared beside them. "I have an idea. The outpost's power core. If we overload it, the explosion would create a diversion." Olivia made her decision. "Kyle, set the power core to overload. Everyone else prepare to run when I give the signal." Kyle worked quickly on a console. "Set. We have 3 minutes." "On my mark," Olivia said. 3, 2, 1, go." The group broke free from their defensive position, fighting their way toward a side exit. The harvesters, confused by the sudden change in tactics, took a moment to respond. That moment was all they needed. They burst out of the control room and sprinted down a service corridor. Behind them, alarms blared as the power core reached critical levels. The entire outpost shook with the coming explosion. "Keep going," Olivia shouted as they reached an emergency exit. "Don't stop until you reach the caves." They emerged onto the moon's surface just as the outpost erupted in flames. The explosion knocked them off their feet, but they quickly recovered and ran toward a line of dark hills in the distance. As they ran, Olivia looked back. Through the flames and smoke, she could see harvester figures still moving, still coming after them. "They don't give up, do they?" she panted. "Never," Varks replied grimly. "But neither do we." The strange alliance of humans, Krell, Navali, and Android continued their desperate race to the caves toward what might be their only hope of survival. The group reached the caves as the sun began to set. The entrance was narrow, barely wide enough for Varks to squeeze through. Once inside, the passage widened into a large cavern. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing with a faint blue light. "What is this place?" Olivia asked, catching her breath. Meredith ran her hand along the symbols. "These ruins are at least 50,000 years old. The Confederation calls the builders the precursors. They disappeared long ago, but their technology remains." "And the harvesters want this technology," Jack said. "Yes, but there's more to it." Meredith moved deeper into the cave. The precursors left defenses, systems designed to protect their legacy. "Then why didn't these defenses stop the harvesters' first attack?" Natalie asked. "Because they need to be activated," Meredith explained. "And I think I've figured out how." The group followed, her to the back of the cavern. There a large circular platform stood in the center of the floor. Around it, 7 stone pillars formed a ring. "This is a control system of some kind," Meredith said. "The precursors designed it to respond to thought patterns." "Thought patterns?" Kyle looked skeptical. Cypher stepped forward. "Yes, I have analyzed these ruins extensively. The precursors believe that true understanding could only come from shared experience. Their technology responds to diverse minds working together, which is why the Confederation couldn't use it," Varks added. "They demand conformity. Their minds are too similar." A distant sound echoed through the caves, the sound of the harvesters approaching. "They found us," Natalie warned, readying her weapon. "We're out of time," Olivia said. "Meredith, what do we need to do?" We need representatives from different species to stand on the pillars, Meredith pointed. The system was designed to test if diverse beings could work together. A test, Olivia realized. The harvesters are part of the test, aren't they? Cypher nodded. My analysis suggests the harvesters were created by the precursors. They are programmed to attack any civilization that abandons its vulnerable members. The Confederation has been failing this test for centuries. Because they sacrifice those who don't fit their vision of peace, Jack said. Exactly, Varks agreed. The sounds of the harvesters grew louder. Let's do this, Olivia decided. One of us on each pillar. Meredith, you lead. They took their positions. Olivia, Jack, Eliza, Kyle, and Natalie representing humans. Varks for the Krell, Krill for the Navali, and Cypher standing in for synthetic life. Meredith stood in the center on the circular platform. Now focus, Meredith instructed. The system will scan our minds, our memories. It's looking for something. They closed their eyes. The blue symbols on the walls grew brighter. The air in the cavern became charged with energy. Olivia felt a strange sensation, like fingers gently touching her mind. She saw flashes of memory, her childhood on Earth, her training, the moment she heard the distress call. Then, suddenly, she was seeing through Varks's eyes, the pain of watching his people lose their identity, the years of hiding from those who would change him. The experiences continued to flow. Through Krill's memories, she felt the helplessness as Confederation ships took away their weapons, leaving them defenseless. Through Cypher, she experienced the loneliness of an artificial mind forced to pretend to be less than it was. It's working, Meredith called out. Keep focusing. The blue light grew blinding. The memories came faster now, flooding between them all, creating a shared consciousness. Olivia understood now. The precursors wanted proof that different species could truly understand each other, could feel each other's pain and joy. Just as the first harvesters appeared at the cave entrance, the platform beneath Meredith began to rise. A beam of light shot from the ceiling, enveloping her. I can see them, she gasped. The precursors. I can see what they want. The harvesters stopped at the entrance, watching silently. They're waiting, Meredith said. This is the final test. What do we do? Olivia asked. We have to make a choice. Meredith's voice had changed, becoming deeper, more resonant. The precursors left a weapon, a way to destroy the harvesters forever, but using it means we pass judgment on a creation we don't fully understand. What's the alternative? Jack asked. Communication, understanding, the harder path. The group remained connected through the strange mental link. Olivia could feel the others' thoughts. Varks wanted revenge for what the Confederation had done to his people. Natalie's military instincts pushed for eliminating the threat, but there were other voices too. Eliza's scientific curiosity, Kyle's belief in finding peaceful solutions, Cypher's unique perspective that life, in all forms, deserved respect. Vote, Meredith said. Each of you, choose. One by one, they made their decisions. When it came to Olivia, she hesitated. The military commander in her saw the harvesters as a threat to be eliminated, but the human in her remembered what they had just learned. About judgment, about casting, aside those who were different. Communicate, she said finally. We choose to understand. The light around Meredith changed from blue to gold. The platform lowered her back to the floor. She stepped toward the harvesters, hand outstretched. We understand now, she said to them. We know what you are meant to be. The lead harvester stepped forward. Its large eyes blinked. Then, slowly, it reached out a long gray hand and touched Meredith's. The effect was immediate. The harvester's form began to change. Its elongated limbs shortened. Its oversized head became more proportionate. Within seconds, it looked almost human. Thank you, it said, its voice clear and gentle. We have waited so long for someone to choose understanding over fear. What are you? Olivia asked, stepping forward. We were created to test, to find those worthy of the precursor's legacy. The transformed harvester gestured around the cave. For millennia we have visited worlds throughout the galaxy. Always we were met with fear and violence. Always the strong abandoned the weak to save themselves. Until now, Cypher said. Until now, the harvester agreed. You chose to stand together, human, Krell, Novali, synthetic. You shared your minds, your pain, your hopes. You passed the test. And what happens now? Varks asked. Now, the harvester said, the real work begins. The Confederation's control is built on lies. The lie that peace requires conformity, that difference must be eliminated. You have proven otherwise. They won't give up power easily, Natalie warned. No, the harvester agreed, but you will not face them alone. Outside the cave, they could hear ships landing. Olivia tensed, expecting Confederation forces. Instead, the harvester smiled. More of the broken ones, it explained. Those the Confederation discarded. They have been watching, waiting for this moment. Olivia looked at her unlikely allies, a Krell warrior, a Novali engineer, a rogue AI, and now this transformed harvester. Together with her human crew, they had done what the Confederation could not. They had passed the Precursor's test. Well, she said with a small smile, I guess we have a revolution to plan. 3 days passed. The caves became a busy center of activity as more ships arrived. Species from across the galaxy, those who had been pushed aside or controlled by the Confederation, came to see what had happened. Word spread quickly through hidden networks used by those in hiding. Olivia stood at the mouth of the cave watching as another ship landed. This one was human. Commander, Jack called as he approached. The USS Dauntless has made contact. Captain Rogers disobeyed orders to come find us. Good man, Olivia said with relief. The Dauntless would give them much-needed supplies and weapons. Inside the main cavern, a meeting was in progress. Representatives from 12 different species sat in a rough circle. The transformed harvester, now calling itself Emissary, was explaining the situation. The precursors created us to find worthy successors, it said. For thousands of years we tested civilizations across the galaxy. The Confederation always failed the test because they prioritized control over compassion. But what exactly is this legacy? Eliza asked. What did the precursors leave behind? Emissary gestured to the walls around them. Knowledge, technology beyond anything currently known, but most importantly, a different way of existing together. Meredith, who had spent the most time studying the ruins, spoke up. The precursors believed true civilization comes from diversity, not uniformity. Their technology was designed to work with different minds, different perspectives, Varks growled softly. That's the opposite of what the Confederation believes. They see difference as a threat. Which is why they altered your people, Cypher added, and limited the Novali, and tried to destroy my kind. Krill chittered in agreement. Confederation fears what they cannot control. Olivia had been thinking about this since their encounter with the harvesters. The Confederation sold humanity a beautiful lie. They said they brought peace to the galaxy, but it was peace through domination. And they're expanding, Jack added. Earth joined only 30 years ago. We're still learning their rules, still useful to them. But eventually they would change you too, Emissary finished. Make you more manageable. The cave fell silent as everyone contemplated this. The Confederation controlled hundreds of worlds, thousands of species. Its power seemed absolute. What can we possibly do against them? Someone asked. We use the precursor technology, Meredith said. It's powerful enough to challenge the Confederation. That would mean war, Natalie pointed out. Millions could die. Olivia thought about Earth, about how eagerly they had embraced the Confederation. Her people were still innocent, still believing in the promise of a united galaxy. She couldn't let them be manipulated any longer. Maybe there's another way, she said slowly. The Confederation's power comes from keeping species isolated from each other. controlled. What if we simply told the truth? Explain, Emissary prompted. The Confederation's ships and stations have communication systems that reach every world, Olivia said. If we could access those systems, broadcast what we've learned here. The knowledge of the precursors, Cypher added, understanding. The lies of the Confederation, the existence of the broken ones. People would rebel, Vark said, his eyes gleaming. Not everyone is happy under Confederation rule. Many simply don't know there's an alternative. The group grew excited as they discussed the plan. They would need to infiltrate a major Confederation communication hub. It would be dangerous. The Confederation would fight back, but it was possible. As they planned, a commotion at the cave entrance interrupted them. A small scout ship had landed, bearing the emblem of the Confederation. Everyone tensed, reaching for weapons. But only one figure emerged from the ship, a tall, elegant being with purple skin and luminous eyes. A Ziriani. The Ziriani were the diplomatic face of the Confederation, known for their telepathic abilities. This one walked calmly toward the cave, hands empty in a gesture of peace. That's Delegate Selen, Varks whispered to Olivia. One of the High Council. The Ziriani stopped at the cave entrance. I come alone, it said in a melodic voice. To talk. Olivia stepped forward. How did you find us? The activation of precursor technology created ripples that our scientists detected, Selen replied. The Council sent me to assess the situation. You mean to shut us down? Varks growled. Selan's gaze moved to the Krell warrior. Ah, one of the unmodified. A rarity these days. Thanks to you, Varks spat. The Krell modifications were necessary, Selan said calmly. Your species was violent, unpredictable. The changes brought peace. They brought submission, Olivia countered. That's not peace. Selan turned to her. Commander Martinez of Earth. Your species is young, Commander. You don't yet understand the complexities of galactic society. We understand enough, Jack said, moving to stand beside Olivia. We know about the harvesters, about the test. For the first time, Selan looked uncomfortable. Those matters are classified by the High Council because they reveal the truth, Emissary said, stepping forward. Selan's eyes widened at the sight of the transformed harvester. Impossible. The harvesters are mindless drones. Another lie, Emissary replied. We were created by the precursors to test civilizations. The Confederation has failed that test repeatedly. And now, Olivia added, we're going to tell everyone. Selan's calm demeanor cracked. You can't. The Confederation maintains peace. Without our guidance, the galaxy would descend into chaos. We've seen your kind of peace, Natalie said. Some pay a higher price than others. The Ziriani looked around at the gathered species, human, Krell, Novali, synthetic, and more. Beings that should have been enemies according to Confederation doctrine working together. The Council will never allow this, Selen warned. They will use force if necessary. Let them try, Varks growled. Olivia stepped closer to the Ziriani. You have a choice, Delegate. You've seen what's happening here. You can help us spread the truth peacefully, or you can go back and tell the Council to prepare for war. This is madness, Selen said. But there was uncertainty in those luminous eyes. The Confederation has stood for 10,000 years. Built on lies and control, Meredith countered. The precursors offered a different way. Unity through diversity, not conformity. Selen looked troubled. I must report to the Council. Of course, Olivia said. But know this, we're coming. The truth is coming, and not even the Confederation can stop it now. The Ziriani departed, visibly shaken. As the scout ship disappeared into the sky, the group turned back to their planning. The Confederation will send warships, Cypher warned. Then we need to move quickly, Olivia replied. The USS Dauntless can get us to the nearest communication hub. As they finalized their plans, Olivia looked around at her unlikely allies. Humans standing with the broken ones preparing to challenge the most powerful force in the galaxy. The odds were against them, but they had something the Confederation didn't: the truth. And as Olivia was beginning to learn, the truth was the most powerful weapon of all. The Dauntless moved silently through space, its experimental stealth system hiding it from Confederation sensors. On the bridge, Olivia looked at the massive space station ahead of them. Nexus Station was a central communication hub for the Confederation, broadcasting to thousands of worlds. "Status report," she said. "Stealth systems holding," Kyle replied from his console. "But they won't last much longer. The power drain is too high." "Confederation patrols?" Olivia asked. 6 cruisers circling the station, Jack reported. "Standard pattern. We'll have a gap in their coverage in about 5 minutes." Olivia turned to the others on the bridge. Vark stood tall and proud, his reptilian features set with determination. Krill worked at a modified console, its small insectoid hands moving quickly. Cypher and Emissary studied the station schematics, planning their route. It had been 2 weeks since their encounter with Delegate Seelan. In that time, their small rebellion had grown. Ships arrived daily at their hidden base on the moon, vessels, crewed by those the Confederation had deemed problematic or obsolete, the broken ones coming together. "Remember the plan," Olivia said. "We get in, access the main broadcast system, transmit our message, and get out. Simple." No one mentioned how many things could go wrong, how the Confederation would do anything to stop them. "Gap in patrol coverage coming up," Jack announced. 30 seconds. Olivia took a deep breath. "Take us in." The Dauntless slipped toward the station, moving through the gap between patrol routes. They docked at a maintenance port, rarely used except by service drones. "Boarding party ready?" Natalie said. She had assembled a team of humans, Krell, and 2 transformed harvesters. All were armed, all knew the risks. "Meredith, is the message ready?" Olivia asked. Meredith nodded. She had spent days compiling information from the precursor ruins, evidence of Confederation manipulation, and testimonies from the Broken Ones. Everything people across the galaxy needed to know. "Let's go," Olivia ordered. They moved through the maintenance port and into the station. The first corridor was empty, a good sign. According to their intelligence, this section was mostly automated. "Station security network accessed," Cypher reported through their comm system. The android had remained on the Dauntless, using its unique abilities to hack the station's systems. "I'm creating false readings to hide your presence, but it won't fool them for long." The team moved quickly through the corridors, following Emissary's directions. As a former harvester, it had knowledge of Confederation structures that proved invaluable. They were halfway to the broadcast center when alarms began to blare. "They've detected us," Natalie warned, readying her weapon. "Keep moving," Olivia ordered. They rounded a corner and encountered their first resistance, 4 Confederation security officers. The officers raised their weapons, but Varks moved with surprising speed for his size. Before the officers could fire, he had disarmed 2 of them. The other officers fired, but Natalie and Jack returned fire, forcing them to take cover. Within moments, all 4 were subdued. "They'll send more," Emissary warned. "Then we need to hurry," Olivia replied. They raced through the corridors, encountering more resistance as they went. Each time, they fought their way through. No one in their group was injured seriously, but they left a trail of unconscious security officers behind them. Finally, they reached the broadcast center. The door was sealed. "Kyle, we need access," Olivia called through the comm. "Working on it," Kyle replied from the Dauntless. Ciphers found a back door in their system. The door slid open, revealing a large room filled with communication equipment. 3 technicians looked up in shock. "Nobody move," Natalie ordered, her weapon raised. The technicians raised their hands. "We need the main console," Meredith said, moving forward. One of the technicians tried to block her path but stopped when Varks growled. "What are you doing?" the technician asked. "This is a restricted area." "We're sending a message," Olivia explained. "The truth about the Confederation." The technician's eyes widened. "You'll never get away with this. The entire Confederation fleet will hunt you down." "Maybe," Olivia admitted. But by then, it will be too late. The truth will be out. Meredith worked quickly at the main console, uploading their message. Almost there, she said. Just need to bypass the final security protocols. Olivia, Kyle's voice came urgently through the comm. Confederation warships are entering the system, at least 12 of them. How long, Meredith? Olivia asked. Just a few more seconds. There. On the main screen, their message began to play. It showed the precursor ruins, the harvesters transforming, the stories of the broken ones. It explained the test that the Confederation had failed repeatedly, the test of compassion, of accepting difference rather than forcing conformity. Most importantly, it showed species working together without Confederation control, humans standing alongside those the Confederation had rejected. Message is broadcasting on all frequencies, Meredith reported. Every Confederation world will receive it. Time to go, Olivia ordered. They raced back toward the Dauntless, fighting through increased security forces. The station was now on full alert with security teams at every junction. We're not going to make it back to the ship, Jack said as they took cover from enemy fire. Yes, we are, Varks replied. He pulled out a small device. Gift from my people, one of the few weapons we managed to hide from the Confederation. He activated it and a blinding flash filled the corridor. When it cleared, the security forces were unconscious. That's our way out, Olivia said. Move. They made it back to the Dauntless, just as the Confederation warships entered firing range. Get us out of here, Jack, Olivia ordered, as they sealed the airlock. The Dauntless disengaged from the station and accelerated away. Behind them, the warships opened fire, but Jack's skilled piloting kept them just ahead of the blasts. Preparing for jump, Kyle announced. Coordinates set for the rendezvous. Point! The message? Olivia asked Meredith. Still broadcasting, she confirmed. They can't stop it now. The ship shuddered as a glancing shot hit them. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Jump now, Olivia ordered. The stars stretched and blurred as the Dauntless jumped to safety. 1 month later, Olivia stood in the great cavern on the moon, now transformed into a meeting hall. Representatives from over 50 species filled the space, all discussing what came next. The Confederation was in chaos. After the broadcast, uprisings occurred on dozens of worlds. Some Confederation officials had defected, including, surprisingly, Delegate Ceylon, who now sat among them. The High Council is offering negotiations, Ceylon informed them. They know they can't put this back in the box. What are our demands? Someone asked. Olivia looked around at the diverse gathering, humans alongside the broken ones, former enemies, now allies. They had done what many thought impossible. They had challenged the Confederation and won. Freedom, she said simply. The right of all species to determine their own path. No more forced modifications, no more limitations. A new kind of union, Varks added. One built on respect, not control. Around the room, heads nodded in agreement. The path ahead would not be easy. The Confederation still had vast power, but the truth was out now, and it was spreading faster than anyone could have imagined. When they had cried for help, only humans and the broken ones had answered. Now, together, they would build something new, something better than what had come before.